All right, today I want to show you how to put line on a brand new spinning reel. Right here we got a Shimano, this is a Vanford, but this can be any spinning rod, spinning reel setup. I just want to get you to kind of get the idea of exactly what you need to do and how to get this all set up. So the first thing I'm going to do is get my backing. And what this is going to do, it's going to go on the spool. It's going to cover probably about 3/4 of my spool. And it's going to be line that's cheaper that I don't plan on ever getting down to with bass fishing. For me, it's something I've inherited from my grandfather. It's a 2,600 yard spool of, what is it, Salt Striker UV copolymer. It's just line that I can put on this. If you have an old bait caster, you gotta say some 15, 20 pound line on there. You could spool that right up onto here too, something you're not gonna use in the past. Instead of throwing it away, put it on there. But you just need some cheaper line to put on the back of there. So this one here, I'm gonna take it off, and the first thing you're gonna do, put it right through all your eyelets. If you do that, it'll make your line go on a lot smoother, cleaner, nicer. You wanna make sure you have a nice tight line to it. So give me 1 second here, and I will get this all set up. And then we are going to start putting the rest of our line. And what I'm gonna do today is we're gonna look at using braid. It's gonna be our backing to braid to a fluorocarbon leader. And that's the setup I like to use when I'm fishing my spinning reels. That gives me the most sensitivity from the braid. Get a lot of contact. You can feel everything that's on the bottom, and it's gonna really help you catch a lot of fish that way. So first thing, spool's closed, spool's open. We need that spool open so that when we close it, that line will get behind the roller and we can wind it right on there. So open this up, and we're gonna use a knot. And what I like to do, I just use an improved clinch knot. I'll take my line here, you're gonna wrap it around about 3, 4, 5 times. You got your knot there, go through there, back through. If you need to look up an improved clinch knot, it's super easy. But you're gonna make this round part because that's what's gonna go around your spool. There's another knot called an arbor knot you can do as well. I've always had good luck with this, and like I said, if you ever get down to the bottom of this while you're bass fishing, it's because you didn't hook a bass. I promise you that. You don't hook a bass that's big enough to get you all the way down to your spooled knot there. So we're gonna get that. Once we have that on there, we'll flip our bail over so it's getting on that roller, and we need to trim that tag end. So make sure you get that tag end that's on your spool from that improved clinch knot. You're gonna take your scissors, cut that thing nice and close to it. Clip that right off like so. And now we're gonna flip our spool, flip our spool over, get your line into that roller. I'm using, this is 20 pound line. I would say use something fairly heavy so you don't have a million like spins on your, or reels onto your spool. I think it's better that way. And then I'm gonna take this, I'm gonna sit it right between my feet. So you're not gonna see it, but you'll hear it. And I want that line to come off just like that. So we'll put that down there, get that going, and then make sure as you open this back up, get those little bit of line that I have on there, get it all the way back down the spool. And I like to put it in between my fingers, between that first guide and the spool, just to kind of give it a little bit of tension. And then we are going to, hang on, it's a little harder when I'm not actually set up with my normal setup here. 1 second. So I do this without my flip flops on. And there we go. So I'm gonna start reeling this just nice and steady. If you got some tension on your rod, then you don't even have to hold it with your fingers, but you're just gonna keep going like that. And just take your time. You don't wanna be in too much of a rush. And just keep an eye on your actual line right here. So I'm looking, and I wanna get that thing about 3/4 full. And what I'm gonna do with my braid is put about 100 yards on there. So you don't wanna have your spool overfilled or underfilled. Let's see, we're probably good right there. So I'll come up close there and show that to you in a second. Cut that off, get that like so. You can see line, it's good shape. Grab it there, get you up close. Hopefully that'll zoom in perfectly on there. It doesn't give you too much of a blurriness. Let's see. There you go. So you can see kind of how I have that amount of the backing on there. Turn it one more time. And you can see it's about 3/4, maybe even a hair more than that, but that's about how much backing I want to put on there. So now that we got the backing on there, this is line I plan on never getting down to, like I said, But now we want to put our braid on. So I'm using Seaguar. This is PE X8. It's a very good line. It comes in 200 meter spool, so it's 219 yards. You split that thing right in half. I do 100 meters of it, and you will be golden. This one I have actually used once, so I have 100 of the meters left on here. And this line's pretty cool because it's easy to tell when you get to a meter. So you can see that line there is green, and then it's pink. So the green is every meter. So there's that next green. So from this green one to that green one is 1 meter. So I'm gonna tie this together, and we're gonna watch it go on there so you can actually count it all the way to 100 to make sure you guys split that spool perfectly in half, and you won't have to worry about not having enough line or trying to only put, if you just start reeling it, you might only have 50 yards or whatever it is. You want to keep that even. So we're going to use this. We're going to tie it with an Alberto knot. Take your backing there, fold it in half. You're going to go through the back, pull it down. You're going to wrap down it about, this one I'm going to do 7 times or so. This knot, if you want to see this up close, I have other videos. Just Google great buck fishing and Alberto knot or crazy Alberto knot. So once I got the 7/8 down, I'm going to do the same thing going back up it. Essentially, it just creates like a Chinese finger trap. It's a very good knot. This is what I use on my smaller fluorocarbon too. This one here, it'll cinch down. It'll be a pretty decent knot here. Let's see. Get it, you pull it, and there you go. So we got, this is our 20-pound backing with that tagline. We got our 24-pound PEX8. This stuff has super thin diameter. So when I say I'm using 24, it sounds like it's super heavy, but it's 0.008 for the diameter. That's similar to Seaguar Smackdown. I believe it is the 15-pound line, same diameter. So it's very strong, it's very thin, it casts awesome for that reason. We're gonna clip both of our tag lines here. That way this will come through our knot very nicely. And again, we're gonna reel this up, take this spool, and I like to keep a little bit of tension on it, whether you put it in your fingers, but I usually just kind of hold it, or I'll put it in a box, but just like so. I'm gonna reel that all off. And as long as you did it right with the correct amount of backing, you will be able to put this whole spool on there and it'll not be over full, under full. And I'll show you that what it looks like when it's done. That way you can make sure you're getting the maximum casting distance. So that's what's kind of key about having your spool full, is if the spool's full, you get the longer cast, but you also get the right amount of line pickup. So each one of these rotations of the handle picks up a X amount of line. If you have too little line on there, it's actually gonna just pull off. You're gonna be getting, say it's supposed to be 32 inches per one rotation. You're actually gonna be getting 28 inches. So you're not catching up to those fish as fast. You're not getting the maximum ability or use out of your line. So you can see here, we're just about to the end. It's getting close, almost there. And there we go, I reeled it right off. So that one's cooked. I like to cut that into 2, or to 100 and 100. If you want to take your PEX, you can even probably get away with doing 70, 70, 70. Set that up, yeah, 70 yards. The meters, you'd have to divide that by 3, so right around there. But again, I'm gonna bring you over here, show you this one. I'm very happy with how this one turned out. And it'll take a little bit of trial and error. If you do that and put it all on there, and say you got not enough line on there, you might have to take it off again, whether you wrap it around this or put it onto another spinning rod, or just tie this just like you did your backing, and put it onto another one if you're doing multiple reels at once. And you can kind of tweak it from there. But let's bring this over. I want to show you up close again what that full spool looks like. So you can see up here we got a little lip there, but not enough to let it either overflow or give you too much of that edge there. Let's rotate this around one more time, like so. And you can see the bottom of the spool as well, right in there. I'm very, very happy with that. So I'm gonna be getting the maximum ability out of the rod and reel setup here. I'm gonna flip this open, get that back down again. And now we're gonna take our fluorocarbon leader, which, sitting on it. Hang on, maybe I'll put it away. Look at that, I did a good job, I put it away. So, I like to use either Seaguar Gold Label, Tatsu, or we even have Grandmax nail. Actually, let's put a thing of that on there. So this is my leader bag. Actually, I have some braid in there too, just in case. But take this one. This is Seaguar Grandmax. It's great leader material. It's the best I've probably ever used. I go between that and the Tatsu. I like both of them. They both do a very good job. So again, we're going to do the Alberta knot. So we're going to loop it together like so. This is 10 pound. Go from the back side. I'm going to wrap down, and with the thinner line, I actually go about 10 wraps. The Seaguar PEX8 is a finer woven, so it's got 8 strands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So yeah, we're good there. And I'm gonna go back up 10. 1, 2. And you want to try to get them to be fairly spaced evenly. That way, when you cinch them down, it kind of does that Chinese finger chop right over it, nice and even. There we got 10. We're gonna go back to that loop. Oops, come on, fingers. Missed that one a little bit. We go back to that loop like we were talking about. And when you have that all nice and even, it makes a really nice knot. So we're gonna pull down, cinch, tighten that up, even it out. There we go. So I'm gonna bring that over to you. I just want to show you that up close, what that looks like. And this is gonna be the perfect setup for going out there on your spinning rod and going out and chasing some big bass, smallmouth, walleye, whatever you like to catch. This is a really good setup there. So you can see I got my fluorocarbon leader. There's that little knot right there. If you can see that, it's gonna come through my guides really well. I get asked all the time, how much do you put on there? I like to reel it until it gets right in this section. I don't like to get it down into my reel too much. That's usually a good amount. This one's got that cool little clip there, so you can put it right there, cut it off. This one's getting a Ned rig tied onto it for a guide trip tomorrow I got on Beltsville. So if you ever want to go fishing with me, shoot me a message. Beltsville's awesome. Lots of bass there to catch, largemouth, smallmouth. Yeah, it's a good time. So shoot me a message. I'm happy to help you get that set up. We're gonna get this put on there. And this is how you spool your entire reel up without using a tremendous amount of line, braid. It's the most economical way. That way, if you want to use the best line materials like the BEX, the Grandmax, it is a good way to do it. Highly recommend using some sort of backing, whether it's old fluorocarbon, old mono, old whatever line. Can't be braid. I don't like to use braid. Other guys do, but I don't like to have braid on any of my spools. It slips a little bit as backing. So that's what I got set up. That's how you spool a brand new rod and reel. So I hope that helped you. If you have any questions, put them in the comments below. Definitely could do it again. If you want to see how I do a bait caster, maybe I'll do a video on that too. But if not, I hope you have a great day. Thank you for watching, and I will talk to you again soon. See you later.